Saying hi. And this is Lucas.
Look at that. Hi, Lucas. Hey, you want to say hi, Caitlin? So we have another one coming through. The
Okay.
one, Caitlin. They hear me talk, so they're all coming through now.
Oh, nice. Okay. 5.5. Yeah. And this is Havana. And Havana is going to be 7 months old in a couple of days. Here you go, Mama.
Bye-bye.
Say bye. Say bye.
Today I got a special guest. His name is Julio Orozco. He is a top producer in Silicon Valley. He's also on the leadership team of Intero. Julio, welcome, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's obviously always good to reconnect and always connect with you, man. So thank you for having me today.
Awesome, man. Tell me about, what are the challenges your buyers is experiencing right now with this current, pandemic crisis with, coronavirus?
Well, I think the biggest challenge right now that not only my buyers, but I think buyers across the board, this is based on information that, from my current buyers is the willingness is there, and they understand that, the opportunity for them to purchase what they've been wanting and the pricings they've been wanting is actually there. I think the only biggest challenge for them is the uncertainty of their jobs. So outside of that, I think, like I said, outside of that, I mean, I have buyers right now that they're constantly looking, they're constantly asking questions, and they're staying on top of talking obviously with their preferred lenders, making sure, hey, how's rates today? Am I still looking at about the same rate? But I think that at the end of it, like I said, the main challenging portion of it is more of, am I going to have a job, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks from now, while we go through the process of buying a house.
So the buyers who are asking those types of questions, are they from a specific industry, or it's all over?
No, it's all over the place. It's not just a specific industry. It's all over the place.
In terms of the buyers themselves, are they, you're telling me that they're concerned about their jobs, and rightfully so. I mean, I think that's why everyone, even ourselves, we're still figuring out how we're adapting to this market.
Correct.
With the buyers, though, how are they reacting in terms of the sentiment? Are they, are they still, still aggressive, or are they have kind of pulled off a little bit?
Yeah. I think for that, in all honesty, is going to reflect on case by case. And what I mean by that is, if let's say you have a client that was doing, your typical 20% down, and they either sold a home prior to all this happening, or they've been saving, and for a client, a typical buyer in that scenario, they're like I said, they're still being very aggressive because now they're seeing, okay, properties are sitting, obviously, the opportunities are there a little bit more, so they're gonna be a little bit more aggressive. I think, like I said, going back to, it's a case by case scenario. The ones that are, that we're doing, like, for example, your bank statements only qualification way, or certain type of program that they were going through with a specific lender. I mean, a lot of those programs as of right now actually are gone. So that's where we're seeing the hesitation. And then that's why, like I say, it's going to be based on, case by case scenario. But like yesterday, there was an article released that they are allowing now individuals to cash out from their 401ks without a penalty. Really? So that's going to be a big plus, a big, huge push for a lot of these individuals that were kind of counting on cashing out from their 401ks to do these transactions. So that in itself is, I think, again, for your typical A-paper client, that's going to be a big push, and that's going to help tremendously. So
great. So let's see, from a buyer's perspective, so I get that demand is still there. So that's good. That's positive. And I get that, yeah, we're probably seeing some adjustments to number of transactions falling through financially. Is there anything they can do to protect themselves when they're pursuing a property or in transaction, in the pursuit of buying their house?
Yeah. Uh, I think right now, the biggest key, if you're on the market as a buyer to buy a house, the biggest key that you gotta make sure you are following through is to still keep steady on the course of what you're trying to do, and that's to buy a house. And the reason why I say that is this: I understand that there's a lot of different types of assistance coming to a lot of people. You know, a lot of credit cards, you know, saying, hey, the next 90 days, don't worry about your payments, car loans, and all of that. My philosophy behind that is that if you've been planning for this, this should not stop you from continuing to make payments on that. And here's why: because we don't really know what the repercussion of that is to come. So what if that, you skipping a month payment just to save, that, small credit card bill or that car note can actually affect you on the loan side. And again, those are questions that I don't think a lot of buyers are asking. And those are things that a lot of people are not even looking into. All they're seeing is, oh, I can get a month of, technically a free payment. Why not? Let me take advantage of this. And the reason why I say this is because in the meltdown in 2008, I saw a lot of this, and people never asked those serious questions. And so 2, 3, 4 months into it, then they realized the consequences of that they were like, man, I should have never done that. So what I say to buyers is this: the way you protect your finances right now is stay on course. You've already been budgeting yourself for this moment, so keep budgeting. You've already been paying your bills on time. Well, keep paying the bills on time. You already have the down payment. And again, if your down payment was coming from a 401k, now look into the 401k, talk to that company and say, hey, you know what? This was released, that, penalties are being waived. Is this something that I can take advantage of? Again, do those due diligence. So then that way you come on top winning, not only with the right house, with the right rate, but as well in this type of market.
That's great advice. What type of questions you recommend buyers should ask their agents or an agent that they're interviewing, that they're the right agent to handle this specific environment right now?
I think that the questions they should be asking agents to see if that they're a fit is, and I believe it's going to revolve around the creativity of an agent, is simply asking an agent, how creative are you going to get for me to be able to buy a house right now? And what I mean by that is not being creative with your due diligence or with your breaking the law stuff, things like that. What I mean is, as a buyer's agent, I believe that buyer's agents need to be very creative on how to showcase a property right now without breaking the law of the land. I'm a big believer right now that can we do business in today's days and times and the situations with the laws that we have right now? Absolutely, 100%. But you just got to get creative on how to do it. That's it. So I think for a buyer, they need to first ask is, are you creative enough to show me properties? And it's not just, here's the link, look at the pictures. I'll give you an example. I have a buyer that was interested in this property, and all she had was pictures, and the property was vacant. So obviously I eliminated obviously one idea I had. And so I called the agent and said, hey, is there any actual footage, like video wise, that you have or that can you obtain from the seller? And she was like, no. So because of that, I went back to my buyer and I said, listen, this is what I asked for. And I went down my list of everything I asked that agent for, and they didn't have it. So with that being said, I said, guys, I don't think this is the right house for you based on the situation and the circumstances we're in right now. Because you're not gonna be 100% sure that this is the right house. And they agreed. They're like, wow, okay. And it gave them excitement of, wow, you gave us a list of all the things you did just to be able for us to have the comfort of saying, yes, this is the right house. So that's what I'm saying is buyers or agents are going to have to be creative. And buyers are going to have to ask agents, how creative are you going to get for you to help me make 100% commitment to a house that I want to purchase in this market?
Powerful. When you're telling me this, I'm getting goosebumps because I think very powerful because it's, you know, I'm experiencing this myself, is that when I see agents who are really transparent in what they do, it just builds that trust so much more powerful. What's one thing that you wish you did or learned or done, completed before the stay-at-home policy was?
Wow, that is a good question there. Okay, so what's one thing that you wish you did, learn, or completed? I think I'm first going to start off with my household, okay? Because I'm a big believer in this. In order for me to be successful in anything I do, I first have to make sure that my house is in order. I was taught that at a very young age, and it was not obviously the house has to be in order, but my room has to be in order, right? When all of this went down, it took me almost a week and a half. Not that my house wasn't in order, but for me to have my house in order for this type of pandemic of fear that was trying to come into our household. So what I mean by that is, like right now, if God forbid something happens where we need to grab and go, I know exactly what I need to grab and go. And everything is like, I mean, again, even if it's in the middle of the night, whatever the case may be, I know exactly what we need to grab. I need to grab for the safety of my family and for the safety of my household. Again, if I look at it, if I would have organized myself the moments I was receiving those things, the first week and a half of all this happening, I think I could have stayed a little bit more focused at work and not really so much worried about my household. But now that I have my household in order and I know where everything is at, and I know, you know, again, God forbid something happens, we need to grab and go, and I know exactly what to load in my truck and all of that. You know, for me, now I have all this time to really focus in my business that much more because my house is in order.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially what you see with the panic buying that happened the first probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Awesome, Julio, man. Thank you for coming today. You've been awesome. These questions, I know I didn't really give you much to prepare, but you answered them. I loved it. We're gonna do some more of these series, but I just appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy individual before and after or during this type of crisis. You're not gonna stop. You have that reputation. I'm not surprised how busy you are right now. So thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me, man. And it's always, like I said, it's always a pleasure, man, doing stuff with you, interacting with you guys, and learning as well with you guys too, man. So thank you guys. Thank you for having me.